Right. Competition. All right. That I know. I need all my technology. This is not. Is this on air? I don't know. Oh, we are live. Okay. So when it's not connected. You said it's not sending because of what? I can't find the attachment. What you mean the attachment? Oh, export. You mean when you pull it up in your find? Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's change the place. So like desktop. Now I don't know what all this is. So like save it to a place where you know how to get to it. Where's like yo, you know how I usually say like desktop, like the home screen or something like that? Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Brooklyn, can you email me your deck? Thank you. Because I didn't even give y'all that instruction. I realized that on the back end. Sorry. what's a good playlist? You still ain't found it? That's weird. Let me see. Not in that. That is really weird. Okay. Show me where your deck is. Over here. Why you got PowerPoint on here? So now, go back to your email. Perfect. And then
I realized I did that. okay, the Wynners Club email. All right, thank you. Okay, we are going to do the same thing. No, it was good. Yes, it was. It was good. Yes. Yes. I love all the markings at the time and all that. It was getting what it used to be. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. It's a lot different. You should try enjoying life rather than spending his time trying to outsmart me. Well, he's alive, that is. I know what you're saying, but it's not that simple. It's just human nature. What's that guy doing? So, the conversation so right around the corner, I pay $100. I still got more to like since my respect take niggas that's tough now to get little with it. It's all cool now. All little kids at heart. Accident watches. Y'all remember about the time I had my hand on that haunts you in this house. Diapers, outfits, and castles. Santa's memorizing voice and sound. Back to the world. Great time show. Jada and Justin's birthday magic show. Games of taking niggas to school. 2 quarters and a bus ass school. Around here we lose best friends like everyone. I like to think we plan a whole game of how they gon' see. And one day maybe I'm a fine seven. So what I do is, I drive, but so about companies spending a lot of technology on us, so we kind of work yeah. Whether it's like downsizing the offices, yeah, so they just sitting at the equipment so that we can let them know. Yeah, so they're not too bad. Yeah, we're not competing with, don't want to Christmas mornings. I used to chill with the kids next door. SpongeBob came around down 4, and then I came with Park Skies around Billy Park. Living through the pictures, checking through my archives. Remember all the time to get back. I know, but it's like butter and fish. Now we look inside the holes and one kickback. It's oh, yeah. I shut place, it's back in slush. Bottles gone, smile comes true, though my eyes might cry. When they live in this soul, oh, remember cheaters, I see funny girl. Young people like this. I was trying to get my mama Lisa. To see we made it Christmas. And all my grandparents say the Christmas was like, let me see you like this. Yeah, you can see the lake and all of that. Yeah. The only thing is, I found that when you hire you know, a lot of stuff that I can hear. I can hear more.
I'm gonna read from it. I was looking at my cards and but I feel like I'm
yeah. You like Beyonce station. I like Jay-Z, yeah. And make me feel good. End of the day, going to the night. Okay, now I can hear it. All right, my bad. Look. Okay, you got it. Can you see everybody? No, you can only see me. Where's the hand Okay, so we're gonna go start. But we haven't got started yet. We're gonna start at 6:30. So I'm gonna
Well, we'll get started on time. We're gonna let the host, well, no, the person who owns this property, let her introduce herself, and we'll get started. Okay? Anybody else want to make a plate before we get started? Plate. Oh, yes. All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Feeny Skanes. I am the founder and CEO of Leadership Edge. Sorry, I'm a little hot and windy right now, but I am the founder and CEO of Leadership Edge LLC. So Leadership Edge is an educational consulting company. I work with parents, I work with educators, educational administrators. I tell people in my day job, I'm a public school administrator. In my night job, which is here, I'm an educational consultant. And so really the vision for this space is really to just bring people together. I'm all about collaboration, community, figuring out how we can work together and not work separately to really make a positive impact on our community. So I was forced thinking about just why you all are here tonight and just networking and how social media, how social media makes a difference. I actually met Christina from somebody on social media, from somebody. It was like 3 or 4 steps before she and I actually connected. And so even some of the vision for Leadership Edge and what you see tonight is Christina being just an amazing thought partner. So that's it. Welcome to Leadership Edge. This is actually the first event that I've hosted with people here. I'm here all the time, but it's usually me as the people on the computer. So I'm excited to just have you all here tonight. If you need anything, definitely let me know. I have something I'm presenting tomorrow, so I'll be in here churning out the last little bits and pieces. But I also left a little note on the back. You all are business owners. I'm about collaboration. So if you all are having events and you're looking for just a smaller space, workshops, classes, it is a flexible space, right? Networking events, whatever. Definitely send me an email so we can talk about some collaborative events. So best of luck. May the best lady or man win. Is it all ladies? All ladies. May the best lady win tonight. I'm going to be peeking through the window just because I'm an educator, right? I'm back there assessing how people are doing. But no, in all seriousness, thank you all so much for coming, and I'm excited, and I just can't wait to see who's winning tonight. So thank you. Thank you, Dr. Jenny. So I'm so excited for today, y'all. This is my first event in person. Was not gonna do it, but this was such an amazing cohort. All women. Some people I've known for years. Some people I met 2 days before, But it turned out to be a really amazing cohort. So sit back, relax. They might be a little nervous, but we're gonna be gracious and y'all know y'all stuff now. Let me tell you a little bit about the program. So it's an online cohort. The purpose is to create a business plan and a pitch deck. So my company, the Wynners Club, we do business coaching, business education, access to capital. One of the things I really realize is that people don't really understand how to construct a business plan. What goes in it? I got a one-pager. That's not going to cut it if you're looking to get capital, So if you really want a plan, if you really want to put together a sustainable business, you need to really understand every component of the business. So that's where the online course came from. And so this is the 4th cohort that I've done, the 2nd cohort through my brand, the Wynners Club. And so
again, I'm really just grateful and excited, and God is moving out. Okay, God is just, I mean, so, I want to give the judges an opportunity to introduce themselves. I have 3 beautiful judges who have come and given their time. They've read over all the business plans. They've given feedback and given scores of the business plan. So just that in general is just a great thing to be able to have that. And so I want to allow each one of my beautiful judges to introduce themselves and the organizations that they are representing. So we will go with Adrian first.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. And I have to reiterate what everyone is saying about her. She's a phenomenal woman. I had a chance to meet her also through online and networking and LinkedIn, et cetera. But my name is Adrienne Baker. I am Vice President, Senior Business Development Banker at Capital One Bank. We launched our business banking initiative here in Chicago in October of 2019. So as you all probably seen cafes and other places here locally, that's the start of my initiative to build business banking here in Chicago. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Stacey Fitz-Caldwell. I'm the Center Director for the Illinois Small Business Development Center at the Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce. Also a small business owner as well. Christina also works with my team, and so I do everything from helping small business get connected to people like Adrienne, giving feedback, also, pulling the Chicagoland Chamber's connections and resources to help small businesses. So I'm happy to be here.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Deborah Chinapale, and I am a financial advisor for Waddell & Reed, soon to be joining LPL. What I do is I work with individuals, small businesses, helping them reach their goals and objectives financially. For businesses, we set up retirement plans. We talk to them about what they need to do financially in order to reach their financial goals. And we are just there to give a lot of consultation, particularly in times of tax situations and how they move forward in setting up budgets and cash flows and things like that.
So as you can see, all of our judges have a really good just knowledge of business, small business, business plans, financial plans, understanding the importance of the language that you use and what you really constructed and put together. So I'm really grateful for all of you all. Thank you so much for giving me your time and attention. So without further ado, we're going to go into the pitch competition. So each person will have 5 minutes to do their pitch, and then our judges will be given 5 minutes to ask questions, and then obviously you all will answer their questions. And then at the end, we'll do the scoring, and then we got like a little big check. Okay, I went all out. So we'll do that with the prize. So we're gonna go ahead and let Sabrina go first. She is in Atlanta. Let me tell y'all something cool before we do that. So because it's an online course, we get people all over the country. Like, it's just so cool. So we had a person in LA, we had 3 people in Atlanta. So Sabrina is actually in Atlanta, so she's streaming in to do her pitch because she still wanted to do it, obviously. So I just think that's awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and you unmute yourself, Sabrina. I'm gonna maximize the screen here, and I want to turn these TVs real quick so I can make sure.
Am I live now?
Hold on. You are live.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for allowing me to bring in. I would have been in person, but we are a week away from finishing virtual school. Yes.
You know it says, you know what your background is?
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, go ahead, yeah.
Were you gonna maximize it?
I will be there, but we're finishing virtual school, so I should not take off today. So thank you so much for having me, Christina. This was a phenomenal cohort. You taught us so much, and I thank you. For my pitch competition, if you will, you can log in at Canva Live and enter this code, and you'll be able to follow along with me. Can you see it?
Oh.
If you give me a thumbs up, I'll be able to.
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. So you'll log into Canva.live. You'll enter the code on the screen, and then I'll go ahead and start. A few more seconds to get that code down.
What was the code? 893?
3926. All right.
Oh, maybe she doesn't know that y'all just screens in here. You know what? Hey Sabrina,
We're good?
you know what? You know they can see your screen because it's two big TVs in here, just so you know. I don't know, you didn't know that.
So they can see my.
They can.
Well, don't necessarily.
All right. I just realized why she was doing that. So whenever you're ready, Sabrina, you share your screen.
Okay, I'm about to present now. Okay, let me share my screen. All right, so thank you so much for having me. I'm Sabrina Williams, the founder, prospective owner of Wynners Islamic Learning Academy. Wynners Islamic Learning Academy, NILA, is an Islamic-focused childcare facility that specializes in high-quality early childhood education. Some problems that NILA is going to solve is that statistics have proven and studies have shown that inner-city schools in Atlanta are not up to par with their suburban counterparts. Problem two, there's a severe need of Islamic childcare facilities in the city of Atlanta and in the surrounding suburbs. The exorbitant cost for problem three of private schools is skyrocketing, preventing private independent schools from being a viable option for inner city parents. These are some problems that NILA is seeking to solve with some solutions that we have put together to make this pain point of the Atlanta Islamic community something that they can be rejoicing in. Our educators are licensed and trained to do this noble task. They love being educators and they have a passion for educating inner city youth. We will fill the void of Islamic schools that the Islamic community desperately needs. Our management team will work diligently hard in striving to keep independent educational costs and NILA affordable for inner city youth. Our service, what are we providing to this Islamic community in Atlanta? Wynners Islamic Learning Academy offers affordable, upscale childcare services with an advanced collegiate-based curriculum designed for kids ages 6 weeks nursery to 5 years old pre-K and 1st through 5th grade in our after-school program. Our interactive strength-based learning approach is multifaceted, allowing children to discover their love of learning with a curriculum that emphasizes reading, writing, and math, and developing an Islamic education. Birth of service. Where did this idea come from? How did I come to this point? I've been a public school educator for the past 12 years, and I've grown increasingly frustrated with what I've witnessed in public school systems in both Chicago and Atlanta. The bureaucracy in public school sectors is mind-boggling. In conjunction with the lack of funding for inner school systems, it's well known and widespread throughout our entire country. Books are outdated, supplies and computer systems are antiquated, thus hamstringing both the teacher and the student. So this idea, this dream of mine was born out of this frustration. I felt duty bound to make a difference. As an educator, I saw firsthand encounter students who came to my school underserved and ill-prepared for elementary school. Timing. Why is this the right time? The timing is now. Solid foundations. We need a solid foundation for children to be able to grow from. For teachers in elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools to have a child that is holistically provided for and cared for when they reach them, be it 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 8th, 9th grade. lack of Islamic schools. With the rise of Islam in the American culture and in America in general, the lack of Islamic schools provides some sort of pain point for Islamic families because the children are not allowed to authentically be themselves in public school settings. Changing the narrative of Islam is important for me as a Muslim because the narrative in America has been such a negative connotation when we're talking about Islamic principles and Islamic people in general. So that's one reason why it's important that changing the narrative of Islam in America is important by doing it with the children and doing it through our school system with our traditions embedded in our everyday community. Reason two, increased government funding. $39 billion has been released by Biden-Harris administration into the child care sector of America. Rising demand for daycare centers. That's a rising demand with more people going to work in two-family households, having to depend on both families to provide. And then the increase of number of women in employment. Women are no longer staying at home. They're running businesses like we all are trying to do. And they're moving and shaking, and they need a solid foundation for their children to be cared for away from them. So the timing is definitely there. Our target market, Muslim parents who have a desire for Islamic education for their children, as well as working parents who are seeking independent education for their children. The size of our market. The child care global market is $54 billion. I'm sorry, the U.S. market is $54 billion. The U.S. child market was estimated to be $54 billion in 2019. It did see some slack with the COVID and the pandemic having an impact on what it was capable to do in 2020, but it is projected to bounce back to a $78 billion industry by 2027. The serviceable market for me in Atlanta would be about 378,000 people that currently live in this area, and then 75,000 Islamic families that live in this area. Direct competitors. These are some of our direct competitors that are in the Atlanta metro area. These are competitors that are Islamic-based child care facilities, so that's why I consider those to be direct. Some indirect competitors are other child care facilities like Kinship Care and Learning Care that we all are familiar with. Competitive advantage. What are some advantages that NILA will have over the other child care facilities? Advantage one, high qualified teachers and staff, state-of-the-art computers and learning apparatuses, M-Class, an award-winning collegiate curriculum, and then four, the most important to me, love and compassion and sensitivity to the inner city children. Competitor approach. What are some things that makes us a little bit different? We are only one of 4 Islamic daycare centers located in the Atlanta South Metro area. The second thing, the director, myself, come to NILA with 12 years of public school experience and 2 degrees. I have a degree in early childhood education as well as school leadership. And then the third competitive approach, are we going to take this market over and redefine Islamic child care facilities with our award-winning in-class early childhood experience. This curriculum has been talked about and raved about how we move children at a young age to prepare for the demands of public schools. Our business and revenue model, this breaks down how we will generate our money from the children that we will serve. This is a breakdown of the infant, pre-primary, and primary age levels. And each room will consist of a different payment plan and payment amount. Our team. Myself, Sabrina Williams, the founder, Jalil Muhammad, the board member, and Ramana Muhammad, another board member, both Muslims who have some experience in education but are very fluent in the Muslim community and can help guide those correct practices that we hope and pray will be embedded in our everyday. Thank you.
So now I want to give the judges an opportunity to ask any questions that they may have for Sabrina.
Hi Sabrina, this is Adrian Baker.
Hi, Ms. Baker.
How are you? I was curious in terms of your marketing plan.
Yeah.
Yes, I know there's a demand and you've done your, market research and analysis, but how exactly do you plan to market your particular school?
Thank you for that question. The way I plan to market my particular school is by teaming up with a local masjid, which is an Islamic prayer, similar to a church, a local masjid, to figure out the needs of that community. I plan on looking into the southwest Atlanta suburban community, where it's 2 to 3 masjids located within that community. I plan on marketing to those particular masjids about their needs for their children as it relates to child care services.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi Sabrina, Stacy here. I just have a question. So the Catholic school really struggled when it came to donations and funding and support. So this is a similar model, it sounds like. And so my question for you would be, outside of the Muslim community, do you have any thoughts or plans to put together a fundraising portfolio that brings in support outside of the target community?
Absolutely. I am not well versed in fundraising, but the Muslim community does have a lot of fundraisers when it comes to things like this. It's embedded on them to
Can they can hear? They can. Okay. We good.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brooklyn Jordan, and I am going to be demonstrating the Transparency Studios business pitch deck today. Starting out with our motto, forget how, create now, which really is the removal of creative limitations, the trusting us with your own process, and focusing on cultivating that artism. Going back to the problem, there's a lack of performing art development, retention, and opportunities in the Chicago minority neighborhoods. If anybody can guess how many people make it into the music and performing arts industry on an annual basis, anybody take a guess?
One.
Less.
65.
Less than that. There's actually only 20,000% of musicians and dancers that break out into the professional industry on an annual basis. A lot of that is, as a Chicagoland area, we consume a lot of entertainment. We live and breathe consumption, but the market penetration is low, and it's due to a lot of lack of opportunities, which stem from on-the-job training. We don't have that. There's no necessary one-way-fits-all education system for us. There's high barriers to entry, such as disposable income. There's underinvested adult services for anybody over the age of 16. And then it's a 3-part network, 1-part talent-driven industry. So your talent doesn't get you there alone. The solution that Transparency Studios is implying is that we will foster an inclusive community of entertainers through creative networking and first-class instruction with an affordable ideation and performance theater. As the dictionary demonstrates, transparency as used in science, engineering, business, and humanities is operating in such a way that is easy for others to see and actions performance. It implies openness, communication, and accountability. I myself, in traditional forms, do not serve well in traditional communication forms. Like this setting, public speaking is not my thing. I get jittery, as you can tell. I'm shaky, things of that sort. But a lot of movement and sound allows us an opportunity to have a voice without actually speaking. And it sometimes moves louder than words. So what Transparency Studio does is it's the voice for the speechless. It's feeling without the presence of physical touch. We do that through development, performative piloting, and networking. Looking at the industry, it's quite large in the grand scheme of things, and Chicago does contribute a lot of it. But if you look on a regional level, the South Side specifically, where we're targeting, we only occupy 6.3 million gross or GDP for our city. That is only 26%, and we're one of 4 of those regions. Based on some of our gap analysis of other prominent entertainment city offerings, such as downtown and other adjacencies like Atlanta, LA, New York City, We found that the gap is in the development of those studios, and that is what we would like to offer. So if we capitalize on those opportunities, there is an opportunity for us to bridge the gap between the city, the south side and the city of 30%, and increase the city's real GDP market size by 0.8 million and capture 3% of the market share. Our services are, it's a 4-pillar service. So we have movement, which is traditionally used as dance and instruction. We have sound, which is recording studios and mix and mastering, things of that sort, songwriting. Rental space, which is a blank canvas space for events to be housed or rehearsals to be served. And consultations, which is our primary point of difference, where we offer professional advice for the advancement of entertainment artists. Based on those service models, we've identified 3 target audiences, being the developmentally invested, the hobby seekers, and innovation vessels. These are usually between the ages of 4 to 35, and they're in the south side area. We anticipate that these prospective clients will be provided to us through social and in-person exposure at events. They will then be directed to our website for scheduling. They come in for an introductory movement or sound session, and then they would finally become permanent performing artist clients of ours through our consultation service. Our team, starting with myself, Brooklyn, I will serve as the owner and the chief of movement. I've had a plethora of experience. I've had 20 plus years of classical training, 10 plus years of instruction. I have an education degree in business administration and an MBA in integrated marketing. And I'm also being supported by a wonderful staff of a chief of sound and chief of operations. Talking about milestones. Today, I don't necessarily have an actual infrastructure, but all of our traction to date has been utilized through outside resources and other studios. And within just the last 2 months while operating with the Wynners Club operation, we found that within the last 2 months, our student interest has increased by 12 clients, and we've actually added 4 local artists of prospective consultations. We're still in the infancy phases of where we feel our milestones are progressing, so we found that we're on a 5-track method right now, and we are in the research stage, which will last until through next month, where we're finalizing our business plan, getting our legal assistance prepared. Our real estate search is in process, and we're looking for partnerships and funding options. But we will follow suit with funding, onboarding, building, and launching in a prospective March of 2022.
Nice.
As far as marketing and sales, we do understand that exposure is extremely important in this time or in this industry. So we've broken out some of our tactics through awareness, retention, and growth. I won't go through the specifics here, but we anticipate, based on these tactics, that we can grow year over year by 150%. Seeing as today we have 0. Differentiating factors. Our primary differentiating factor is our location. We're on the south side, and there aren't very many that cater to us in this area. Based on our competitive outlook, you can't find another studio similar to ours within 12-mile radius. Additional factors are that we're a centralized location. You can not only create with us, you can also perform, you can rehearse with us and actually perform all in the same creative space. We're resource-based. We actually mitigate that legal and financial burden that others are receiving from labels and talent agencies by utilizing our own internal services. We're affordable and local. We increase POC opportunities through our wages and our employment opportunities and through our contracting. And we have a superior quality of instruction, customer service, and equipment. Of course, funding is the most dominant thing that we are in need of right now, and we have a long ways to go. But with the help of this competition, we would be able to use these funds towards a mixed use of equipment and software that would be able to action us today instead of waiting for our infrastructure to be in place. That is all I have. Thank you.
We're going to allow our judges to ask questions.
Brooklyn, I did spend a good amount of time reviewing the business plan. Had a lot of material in it. One of the things though that I wanted to try to better understand is how have you kind of tested the market, if you will, to see if this will really be successful?
Yeah, and that's something that we just started doing within that last 2 months, is testing out the market. Obviously, I mean, I'm already an instructor on a daily basis, so I understand what the prospective student client base will look like. I operate in a studio that's on the west side, but a lot of my students actually come from the south side, so they're looking for something that is going to be closer to them. Our other counterpart, Keith Jones, he's actually already in the engineering world, which is a more of a freelance space. You can kind of go where you want. They're really looking for who it is that they're getting, so they'll go with him wherever he's at. From a consulting aspect, though, we've just polled the area. So I did do a survey of who is interested in that type of service within the Bronzeville area, and found that there was quite a lot of interest there. But yeah, there's going to be continued surveying that'll be done to understand what that market looks like from a consulting aspect.
All right, thank you.
Hi, so I read your business plan as well. It was very thorough, so thank you for that. It looks like you put a lot of thought into it. So I really don't have any questions. My only thought was what Ibn said was about the testing the market, but even further to think about how your partnerships would benefit with your funding. Because I think you have a really clear plan, and that's what brings sponsors and partnerships to you. And so that's really a comment, not a question. But yeah, but I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna say the same. You had quite a plan. So you did a great job. I thought that your payroll seemed real complex.
It is.
So I did, yeah.
Because I'm obviously a startup and it's just me today, but I do envision having a very robust staff. I want to reach the masses, obviously. It's some sort of complexity because there's full-time staff, there's part-time staff, and then there's contract staff. I mean, this is a freelance world that we're living in, so trying to project what that's going to look like in the future is quite hard. So I based it off of when we anticipate growth and where we can put people in place. And having commission-based employees was somewhat tricky to put into plan. So that was where the complexity stemmed from. But my hope is that essentially as we get started, things will ease out. And if our growth is, I mean, I had put together a modest projection plan. So if we can surpass that, I think some of those complexities will surpass forthcoming earlier than later.
And then you have a real vivid plan and a phenomenal idea of what you want to do over the next 5 years. And you have a lot that you're trying to do over the next 5 years. So my question was, what would be your biggest revenue producers, say maybe your first 2 biggest revenue producers, and should you try to get some things done stair-stepping instead of everything at once?
That's a great question. I think if we can secure some of these partnerships and local celebrities to utilize our consultation, that would confirm probably that 10% of revenue right off the top. And we can focus more on our instruction, which is the core of what the business is trying to give back to those minorities so they can grow and actually become performing artists. So if we can garner that up front, then we can focus on the actual development of our students. Thank you.
Y'all make me look good up here. Who wants to go?
hurry up before she gets started.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Angelica London. I am the owner of Lit Kit Art Box LLC. Lit Kit Art Box LLC is a company that specializes in non-subscription and subscription art boxes, and we tap into the creativity of every novice or expert artist. We do that through step-by-step instructions in every box, and we also have live instruction on Zoom. We have a philanthropic focus to every sale of our boxes. So we are solving 3 problems, one of which is during COVID, we merged in April of 2020, and so through COVID, it was difficult for people to connect to family members as well as colleagues during that time. So we are addressing that problem. Also, there's a need for a focus for self-care. There are immense numbers, high numbers of anxiety and depression during this time, even before COVID happened. Our third problem that we are addressing are low funds for college-age minority art students, myself being one of them. I was a graduate of Columbia College Chicago, so it is very hard for minority art students to find funding and scholarships. So we're providing 3 solutions, one of which is that we're providing that live instruction on Zoom, which connects colleagues and family members from across the country. Our second solution is that our subscription box, because it's delivered monthly, it promotes designated times for self-care. We have every Wednesday, first Wednesday of the month, we have something called Wind Down Wednesday. So people come to log into Zoom and join our session. So it's a designated block off time, but also our subscription box can have people do those projects at their leisure. Our third solution is that through our boxes, because it has a philanthropic focus to every sale, we are raising funds for that scholarship funds for minority art students across the country. Our target market, we have 2 of them, one of which is women aged 30 to 60 who enjoy leisurely painting in their free time. Our second focus group target market are mothers of school-aged children who are interested in finding creative outlets for their children. Our business model, we have our non-subscription boxes cost $35. That does not include tax and shipping. We also have subscription boxes that range from $35.99 to $485.99, depending on what time limit they choose for their subscription. We have a month to a year subscription options. And then our subscription box is currently a premium option only because the cost of shipping as well as the procurement of products. We now have a partnership with some foreign manufacturers, so our cost is significantly lower. So once that happens, because currently we're $5 to $10 above market, where our competitors are, but once that happens, those partnerships happen. Well, they've already happened, but once we put them in every box, we'll be right on market with our competitors. Traction, we have sold over 3,000 art kits in the last year, and that includes pre-incorporation. So that has been a blessing, and again, those kits have been in the ranges of $35 or more. We've created partnerships with our large organizations like Pfizer, Northwestern Law School, Columbia College Chicago. So that has created a lot of buzz for our products. And also we added the subscription box option. And within 2 months of launch, we had 50 subscribers. And we're also developing an on-the-shelf product. We have a version of the on-the-shelf product. And through the course, we have a partnership with the Wonder Museum downtown. And so they have created a gift shop. And so our one version of our Lit Kit Art Box is going in their gift shop in the next week. Our marketing strategy, word of mouth, has been fantastic. E-newsletters, website, social media handles, Instagram ads, and then we also are joining a Google cohort next week. Actually, this week is when it starts, so we'll be targeting more through Google ads. Small but mighty team, myself, the CEO, and also our bookkeeper, Flora Digby. She has decades of financial experience, and then myself, I am an art educator and also an artist in the city of Chicago. I'm a painter, and I have art retail experience. So I worked at Blick Art Materials years ago, so I have experience with the procurement of art supplies and what to look for in the price points. This is our product. These are some of those things that you can find in the Lit Kit Art Box.
Each box comes with 3 canvases, 3 step-by-step images, paint, brushes, an easel, and then also a link to a live session, that Wind Down Wednesday session that we do every first Wednesday of the month. Competitive advantages, I did state them a little bit before. I'm a working artist, art educator as well. That assists in the creation of the step-by-step directions. I'm an elementary school art teacher, so I have to be very explicit. So that helps in writing out my directions. I've been told that literally age 10 or even younger can fully understand what our directions are. And again, I have knowledge of product acquisition with my experience with art materials. So if you're interested in learning more, please contact us, lookatartbox@gmail.com and lookatartbox.com. Thank you so much for your time.
I think we know the drill now.
Very well done. Thank you. That your business plan also was very good. What are your immediate next steps? What is the next move for you?
Yes. So the on-the-shelf product, the ultimate idea, because Wonder Museum is purchasing a version of the on-the-shelf product. So the on-the-shelf product that I have envisioned in my brain will be on the shelves Q1 of 2022. So the next steps are to find the products, to talk to those manufacturers in China to figure out the inserts and things like that. So that's what I'm currently working on. But yes, those are the next steps. Because I know that virtual will only last for so long. So I know that the ongoing revenue is really going to be that on the shelf product.
Great presentation. I love the CEO.
Thank you.
It's important. It's a part of the pitch. I have a question for you. You talked about you being priced a little bit above your competitors. Have you thought about adding value in a different way that they don't to keep your price point? Because I don't think that you should lower your price point.
Thank you. That's a wonderful point. I will say that I feel like my price point is right on target because I am one of the few acrylic paint boxes. So subscription boxes, there's 2 major watercolor boxes and then there's 1 oil. My box, the people that are behind those products do not have the same experience, and also there's no minority representation. So I feel like in addition to that, I'm pouring that experience into it. But I would love to keep it where it is. As a business owner, I want that profit margin to be huge. So seeking out those foreign manufacturers has significantly helped. And I'm on the fence. That is something that I'm thinking of whether to keep it the same because I am getting sales. It's not that my price is too high. But yes, that is something that my team of 2 need to think about. Have a meeting.
That's okay. And then my other question was, have you thought about, in the same context, have you thought about like the starter box? I saw that it comes with the easel. If someone subscribes, they don't need the easel
Correct.
each time, right?
They do not receive it each time, you're correct. So the first box has the most objects in it. So they don't receive the easel, they don't receive the palette anymore. They always, and then I give brushes every 3 months or so. So yes, there's and then in the deluxe box, because there's a basic box and the deluxe box. The deluxe box always has surprise materials every month, branded material and things like that. So there's always a little to keep it going.
Okay, so that may be where you can look at
Thank you.
the starter box being more,
Okay.
and then the subscription being a little bit different.
That's a wonderful suggestion. Thank you.
First of all, when you came in, I thought, oh, that was a wonderful suit, and in looking at yours, several thoughts came to mind. You need to multiply yourself.
Yes.
Because you are the ones with the ideas, you're doing the work, you're doing everything. Mm-hmm. And actually, after reading, I think you need to think bigger. The issue becomes there's only one of you.
Yes.
And how do you make that happen and go bigger?
I also thought, I know,
I saw who you worked with through some of your relationships.
Yes.
Have you ever thought, and I know that you are a are you the only one in the market, African American?
Yes.
Chicagoan? And food for thought, have you ever thought about, coupling with a minority, so to speak? And bring to that table, entering a larger corporation or something that does this kind of thing, and you bring the minority flavor to them, because right now it's very big.
Yes.
So that's one way of taking advantage of what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thought, and I had
Wonderful thoughts.
coming from you. Also,
Yeah,
I thought you
for real.
in thinking bigger, I don't think you're asking for enough money. And what the reason I say that,
$15,000.
I need way more than that.
Yeah.
but the reason I say that is that often we have wonderful businesses and we come to the table and we don't ask for enough money. Consequently, we're always struggling a little bit because we never had enough to start off. Something I want you to do.
Thank you. Can I address one of those things? The multiplication is very important to me. So the plan is in the next month to hire more associates. So within 3 is what I'm looking to hire more instructors and to target the beginner, medium, or intermediate and advanced painters, because I primarily draw the beginner painter and the leisurely painter, but there are people out there that want to have instruction that are on different levels, in addition to children as well. So even though I'm a kindergarten through 2nd grade art teacher, I'd rather not teach the kids. So I know that I could keep it moving with additional instructors. So that is the move in the next month. Like literally, I have names lined up. So that's a wonderful suggestion. I agree. I'd love to multiply myself today.
I was even thinking about expansion in senior housing.
Yeah.
That's an art and craft that they can do.
Yeah.
But you can't do it all. But I mean, you have a wonderful idea that can go in many places. And after coming through the year you just came through, a lot of people are looking for things that bring self-help to them, and some tranquility.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ayana Simmons, the owner of Virtual Assistants LLC. The mission of Virtual Assistants LLC is to make the lives of small business owners easy by completing tasks that will allow their business to run efficiently. Overall, freeing up more time, which would allow them to focus on bigger tasks within their company. The problem that I see my company helping to solve is equipping various companies with many administrative skills, such as customer service, managing payments, dispatching and scheduling field technicians, appointment setting, and ordering supplies. I'm the only one on the team at this time, so based on the current demand, I have the bandwidth to support my current customer. I have 10 years of admin experience and 7 years of HVAC back office. I am successfully able to handle 2 clients. By my second client, I will hire an assistant to delegate tasks to. Who am I targeting? I chose to target the smaller startup companies that tend to be ran by 1 or 2 people, usually the owners, due to lack of funding. I chose to target the HVAC companies, which is where my experience has been, where my competitors will take on clients of all sorts of industries. The solution. The solution that I see virtual assistants will be able to provide small HVAC companies with is a peace of mind, knowing that their bookkeeping
and administration is being met, allowing business owners to focus on generating more revenue, and clients will always have a human being to speak with. Marketing and networking. Being that I'm a startup company, I have done my research on other companies like mine. At the conclusion of my research, I have gained knowledge on multiple ways to get my business name out there and how to get my target market interested in doing business with me. For one, social media. Through social media, I'm able to reach millions of people at one time, and I'm able to get my friends and family involved to get my name out there. Two, networking events, once the city opens back up. Through networking events, I can get up and close and personal with many successful business owners, and there I can hand out my business card and give my elevator pitch, and hopefully my name will reach higher heights. Price comparison. To the right, you will see two charts of VA pricing. Notice how virtual assistants offer the best price of $1,400 for 30 days or up to 40 hours a month, versus my competitor, which offers 10 hours for $399, 15 hours for $599, and 20 hours for $749. As you can see in my chart, you will be getting more hours as well as a stable assistant experience. At this time, I work with QuickBooks and a dispatch system where I dispatch field technicians on a daily workday. Investing in financials. Being that I'm a startup company, I have not experienced any of the hardships that come along with finances. However, I do project that I will come across these hardships once I have more clients. To be proactive and to combat these hardships, my goal is to save a percentage of my total earnings over the next 2 years to ensure that I'm able to tackle my hardships for finances. My startup milestones and next steps. As of today, I have obtained my LLC, I have my EIN, a business bank account, my website, and business cards. Within the next 6 to 12 months, I plan on contracting 2 to 3 clients, 5 clients within a year, hiring an assistant when I reach my second client, and as I assign contracts with clients, I will have enough money saved that I'm able to hire other VAs to accommodate my clients' needs. And the funds from this competition I will be used to support the hiring of an assistant. And if you will contact me, thank you all. This is my information.
Hi, you? Good. Read through the business plan. It was very good. Some of the questions I had was trying to get a handle on kind of like the financial aspect of your startup costs, and then kind of what is the outlook going forward over the next 3 to 5 years. You're indicating you're starting out with three clients?
No, right now I have 1 client.
You have 1 client.
Yeah. My plan is to get 2 to 3 clients within the next 6 months.
Okay. Can you help me understand why the client base is the size that it is? It seems like you can do more. It seems like you can be bigger. Help me understand why you're starting out smaller.
Because right now it's only myself, so I want to see how I can grow. And as I grow, I plan on bringing on other VAs and assigning clients to those VAs.
Okay, so the work that you do is very detail oriented. Is that what keeps you very busy?
Yes.
I'm assuming. Because I was looking at the cost also that you're charging. What is it, $1,400 a month?
Yes, I've been going back and forth with that as well with Christine.
It's low. I ain't good. It's low though.
You feel it's low?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's at $35 an hour. I'm still juggling my hourly.
Because my thinking is if you're trying to replace an employee,
Well, it's $1,400. So I offer 2 package plans: administration and bookkeeping. So each plan is $1,400. So they want to buy both contract for both plans. It'd be $2,800 a month. So they want to just do one.
But is that cheaper than hiring an employee?
Yeah.
The way I look at it is that you can make more money by volume.
Okay.
So you could cut your costs with what you're charging and gain more clients. And you could actually contract someone as a 1099, because there's a lot of people out there that want to do virtual work as an independent contractor, as opposed to you incurring the cost of a W-2 employee and having to pay the benefits. And so then you could really grow this business with more clients, and you could actually launch it aggressively through social media. Another aspect of your business that can help your clients is grow their business with social media. And I know you speak to bringing it back to the basics, but everybody's growing their businesses with social media of some sort. So if you had another person that could help you educate your clients and help them launch their businesses further, that's another part that you would charge more money for as well. So
Understood, thank you.
that's a thought.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I read your business plan and I had some of the same thoughts. This is a saturated industry. So when business owners are looking for virtual assistants, I think they're looking for who can they get to customize to their needs a little bit quicker, a little bit faster, and for less. So to her point, volume I think will work. And I think what we do, and I work with entrepreneurs all the time, is we get a little afraid because it's like, well, I don't want to say I can do all this, and then so what I would say to do is think about what a process looks like, and then train, right? So whatever your process is, if it's going through QuickBooks or whatever, however you do it, then find some people that want to work with you as contract employees for you.
Okay.
And in that way, you can scale a little bit easier. And then the other thing is, if thinking about it from the employer perspective, if I can afford to pay someone contract $1,400 a month as a small business, then they probably are going to expect you to be almost just like an employee for them. So that will limit your scale, if that makes sense. So I think it's a good concept, and I think the differentiator and what I kind of read and heard in your plan was because it's the industry that you're working for. So I would almost focus specifically on that and figuring out how to, connect with groups and the Facebook groups that are, in tied to your industry, so that you can kind of be the expert of the virtual assistants in that field.
Understood.
That's an excellent thought, because I too, I guess we all caught that in your presentation in terms of the cost and how you could make that work for you. You had mentioned that you saw a lot of your competitors were kind of generalists.
Yeah, I've been noticing, and I've been doing research that a lot of VAs are offering social media management, website management, those particular items. And with a small startup company, that's ran by just the owner, I can help with the back office and bring it back to the basics of getting the back office tight so that small company can focus on generating more revenue for their company.
And I thought that was good in that regard. But then on the other side, if we're talking about a small startup, not yourself, can they do the 1,400? So that's where that money comes in.
And if I could, not to say that you shouldn't,
Right.
there might be an opportunity to do a tiered level based on the business who is interested, right? So if it's a company that has X amount of employees and they're a little bit bigger, that's more work for you, right? Because if they have 10 employees versus 2 employees, you're doing more work. So you may be able to tier that pricing tied to the size of the company.
Okay. Yeah, understood. Thank you.
And also in that, maybe one of the reasons I think some of those companies are generalists is because they got to make the numbers work. And maybe where you have some additional revenue items is your expertise in consultation, but that's an extra charge. So you have to see how to make the numbers work. And right now, you being yourself and the only one, you're going to be burnt out quickly if you don't get some help. And to get some help, you got to earn some money.
Understood.
Christina, the other one.
The Wynners Club, the Gmail.
Okay.
I don't know that password.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's the wrong.
You just had it up. Yeah. Christine, you just had it.
It's fine.
Pen on paper.
Okay, come on. We got one more.
Good evening. My name is Latanzia Sanders, and I am the owner of Chateau Investments LLC. So, who are we? Chateau Investments LLC is an investment firm seeking to acquire single-family and multifamily homes in the Bolingbrook, Joliet, and Romeoville markets. As with community and collaboration as our Northern Star, we look to be good stewards of the community and also be active participants in neighborhood transformation. As the purveyors of customer service, we seek to provide our tenants with a premier experience. So, we're working with the communities and understanding the needs, having been a resident of these areas myself. I've identified 3 areas of opportunity that we can provide solutions for. The first one being soaring housing costs. So we've all kind of seen what's happening currently in the housing market. With the low mortgage rates, homeowners or prospective homeowners are rushing to the market to acquire home ownership. It's the American dream. What is not stated is that these home buyers are actually paying between 10 to 12% above asking price because that demand is going up, but the supply is going down. And so with that stark reality, home ownership is unattainable for a lot of American families, just because of actually what we've experienced with loss of jobs, and just that being out of reach for people. So with our services, providing those conveniences of single family living without those commitments, we look to resolve that. The next thing is that renters want the conveniences of single-family homes without the commitments. I'll just pose one question to the audience. Do you all know like the literal meaning of mortgage? It's a debt pledge.
Really?
Exactly.
I didn't know.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
So as we become more of a lifestyle society, seeking the conveniences, flexibility, we don't want those commitments anymore. Gone are the days of working the 9 to 5 for 30 years, purchasing the home just to retire. We want the convenience, we want the flexibility, and that is what we look to resolve here. So we will provide you with the same space without the commitments that homeownership does impose upon us. And the foreclosure moratorium, say that 3 times fast. As we know, that date is nearing. I mean, there's debates and talks about where this is going to land, but that date is nearing. And what we look to do is help those displaced families. I mean, right now we're seeing superficial numbers currently on the market showing that that market is a lot smaller than what it is. Once that moratorium is lifted, there's going to be an exponential amount of homes that actually go into foreclosure, unfortunately. So our job as the stewards of the community is to provide those displaced families with a solution. And with the average household size of about 3.23 people, we look to provide those layouts and functional spaces for those growing families that are outgrowing the confines of apartment living. So that is how we look to address those different areas. Our target market, again, having been a resident of these areas, I kind of understand the target market. But through our market research, I've kind of been able to bucketize these lists into 3 areas that vastly impact all of the target markets that I seek to acquire in. The first thing, ages 35 through 54. In all of the target areas, this represents about 30% of the market. So we will look to advertise to these specific groups utilizing the marketing strategies, which we'll get into a little bit later in the presentation. The second being the median household income of about $65,000 annually. This does not seem to be a problem, as all of those markets kind of show that the median income is actually outside of that, so it exceeds that amount. We chose $65,000 because if you've ever been in a situation where you had to rent, or you've been like me having experience in the property management system, we understand that standard calculation is about 3 times your gross monthly income to determine whether or not you can afford the rent. With our rents ranging between $1,500 a month, trying to price myself out, $1,500 a month to $2,000 a month. Consciously, we understand that if we look to aim towards folks that make at least $65K annually, that they would be able to afford those rental rates. And then pre-foreclosed homes. Now, this is going to be a very unique market because it's very time sensitive to touch this market. Unfortunately, Illinois has a pretty lengthy foreclosure process. So we seek to try to attract those homeowners and market to those homeowners before they go into those foreclosure proceedings. Because as we know, at that point, they become less motivated to sell because now they have that 2 to 5 year runway before they really have to act. In other states, people are a little bit more motivated because it's a shorter process and families seek the solution before they have to face the rippling effects that foreclosures imposes on homeowners. Solutions, we provide convenience, again, having the functional layouts, the craftsmanship, the up-to-date finishes, without the responsibilities of signing away towards that debt pledge. We are competitive, offering the flexible lease terms and also being conscionable about the rates that we charge. This is going to be ring a lot truer once we go to future slides where you will see what I am referring to. From a community aspect, we're providing families with the opportunity to seek the conveniences of suburban living. So there's steps away from retail, shopping, transportation, industry, and family activities. So we're giving that footprint so families can enjoy that without having the commitments, especially now when they would have to pay between 10 to 12% over the asking price. And from a maintenance perspective, how many people get tired of paying for the water heaters and all of that and anything that goes wrong? Much like our competitors, we do offer maintenance. We offer the convenience of maintenance. So you get the apartment style maintenance and convenience without having to be confined to some of the the small walls that apartment living affords. So from a revenue and business model, the MLS currently shows the market size cumulative inventory right now is about 850 homes currently on the inventory. We're going to cast our net a little bit wider to try to reach about 3 to 5% of that audience. However, we do understand that it's really more attainable, that we probably reach about 2%. And what that equates to is about 17 acquisitions, ranging at the lower end of $1,500 per month for rent. We look to seek a net cash flow per door at about $450 per month. What does this average out to as an annual net cash flow? About $92K. I want to call out that this does not include any possible equity. We understand that at the forefront it's important to calculate your after rehab values, as well as just kind of understanding the market. So we did not want to be too optimistic. However, we do know that based on the market research, we do show considerable equity in a lot of homes that we're seeking to acquire also. From a timeline perspective, so we are in May. So to date, we have established ourselves as an LLC structure finally. Thank you, Wynners Club. And we have a functional business plan, which will be our living and breathing document that we look to update, especially after getting some insights from the fine ladies. In July, we look to join the mastery program. Now, what is this? This program will give us the insights and exposure to a lot of reputable investors, private lenders, contractors, wholesalers, the whole network of real estate stakeholders that will put us, give us the insights that we need to position our company for success. With the targeted completion rate in that cohort being September, we look to acquire about 1 to 2 properties in that time frame. In January 2020, we look to have 4 to 8 properties in our portfolio and look to segue into the Airbnb markets. What's interesting about the tentative approach for Airbnb, we won't look to acquire those spaces, we'll look to rent those spaces so we mitigate our risk there, and then host those on the Airbnb platform for additional streams of income. And we'll also seek joint venture opportunities for larger projects so we can potentially increase our return. In 2023, we look to expand into different markets. There's a lot of markets right now that look favorable, but obviously we're not positioned to take on those markets in those different areas, so we'll stay conservative for now. We'll hold fast for now. And then we look to develop some digital content so that we can, again, look for opportunities to maximize our portfolio. So our marketing strategy for renters, our marketing strategy is going to be multimodal, as we understand that we are targeting audience of varying interest in our company. From a renter's perspective, we'll utilize anywhere from the apartments.com, social media, Google ads, and just leveraging relationships with the real estate agents to market on our behalf as well. From a pre-foreclosure, I know that I mentioned this population. What we look to do, don't try not to laugh. We're going to leverage the mailing system, snail mail. While this is an antiquated approach, what we found is that it is still very effective. So what we look to do is market till about 5,000, send out about 5,000 mailers, and then about 82 cents per mail. You do the math. But this target market does create a lot of potential return on investment. We're getting the exposure to off-the-market deals, so we won't have to pay prime, and it's just for a nominal investment for marketing and campaigning. From a real estate perspective, we'll look to leverage our memberships with realty communities. We'll look to sponsor any events that we can, as well as leverage the Chamber of Commerce connections so that we can have very high touch with this audience, as we understand this is an integral part of our business and they impact more than 10% of that bottom line for us. The team, a strong army of one right now. As the principal owner, I will look to drive the business, and also with about 5 years of project management experience as a certified PMP, I will be managing that scope, schedule, and budget. So no buying things under my watch that I didn't approve. But we do look to expand. So we want a site superintendent. This person will have about 8 to 10 years of experience in the construction realm. This person will be tasked with managing the relationships that we have with our contractors. They will also complete site safety audits to ensure that we are in alignment with the municipalities that we work within. And they will also schedule and conduct those inspections. This person also must be versed in construction standards so that we're making sure, again, that we're aligned with all of the standards that the villages have. In terms of a principal estimator, this person will have about 5+ years of estimating experience. We understand that it is important that we stay on target and on budget. So this person will have to have experience, and we will challenge this person to create estimates within plus or minus 5% of the final cost. This person will also have to be versed in Autodesk and other estimating technologies. Because we understand that this person does not suit the entire project life cycle, they're pretty much at the initiation phase. This person will be brought on initially on a per project basis. And then we have our office clerk. This person will have exceptional organizational skills as well as handle all the paperwork and the filing system. So, come time for the money. We're asking for an initial investment of about $260K. Everybody hold their seat. This will fund two of our first two acquisitions as well as the rehab costs, and this does also include 10% contingency for any unforeseen risk. These two properties alone will garner $11K in annual net cash flow, and this also does not take into consideration the potential equity per month. As we stated, we're looking to scale up at about 1 to 2 acquisitions per month. I know that sounds very advantageous for a startup. However, through leveraging that relationship with the mastery program, this has been proven that they do have a track record to meet that rate that I am referencing. So our competition ranges from the individual investor like myself to the institutional investors such as the Invitation Homes and American Homes for Rent. The new entrants typically have, so real estate agents or investors such as myself, we enter the markets, we do about 1 to 2 projects, we make some costly mistakes, and the sweat equity and the earning potential just aren't there, and pretty much on a 70% cadence, these people just don't re-enter, they say that's enough. So our institutional competitors, such as the ones we named before, they are able to advance at a faster pace than we are, with them having resources at their leisure. However, did you know that during these trying times, the American Homes for Rent, as well as the Invitation Homes, increased their rents by 8 to 11% in COVID? So obviously that just kind of says that they're, focused on the bottom line versus being good stewards of the community, which we advertise and are committed to. They also leverage a lot of technology, so it's not really, getting people on the phone per se. We will try to be as conservative as possible, working with the community, and try to keep the rent increases reasonable, as well as our community involvement, and we're just, offering a premier customer experience. So what will we do if you show us the money? We will allocate these funds towards the cost of business setup, starting with virtual address, email, Google number. We'll also allocate some of the funds to joining some of that 12-week cohort that I referenced earlier that will really help our business catapult for success. We will also use the funds towards continuing education and seeking certifications in the DBE, MBE, and WE realm. And that will conclude my presentation. Barring any questions? I'm doing well. Yourself?
Good. I read the business plan and the presentation, both very, very well done.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Some of the questions that I have are, how do you plan to go about acquiring properties?
Yes. So initially, I have a plan and then a contingency plan. So initially, as the plan A, which is the surefire, I'm going to use my own personal funding to seek the mortgages that I'm looking to acquire from a banking institution. My contingency plan will be, as I continue to research and interface with this group, is to leverage some of those resources that the Mastery Program does afford me. This program, like I mentioned earlier, does provide access to private lending, so long as you follow their formulas and present a pitch. You are pretty much trusted and will seek those and will acquire those funds through that. So initially, if I have to, I'll go with my own self, which I hope not to, because I like to use other people's money. And if not, then I'll go that route.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you looking at properties that are, kind of below market?
I am. I will largely leverage the off-the-market deals. Currently, the MLS and other reputable websites, they charge like a 30% premium. So I will be looking largely to seek those off-the-market deals. So that it looks like right now, off-market is, you possibly get like a 40% discount if you go that route.
Okay. Because I was looking at your rent, which you charge,
Yes.
and my son actually does. He actually is renting a home with a company called First Key Homes.
Okay.
That does exactly what you're doing,
Yep.
what you want to do.
Mhm.
They do it across the country.
Yes.
He pays about $1,600 a month.
They probably raised the rent.
They probably did.
Yes.
When he was looking though, there was nothing, that was probably the lowest.
Yes.
So, what my thought was, when I was listening to you, was making sure you cover that mortgage plus any
Yes.
cost
Yes.
related to that particular property.
Absolutely.
So, in your case, you could be lowballing yourself in terms of what you are gonna charge for that rent.
Okay.
Because $450 net is really not.
Very conservative.
It's very conservative.
Yes, absolutely.
So you may find as time goes on, once you factor in with the rent, with mortgages, the money you put into it, that you may wanna, consider bumping that up, particularly for the market that you're looking at too.
Absolutely.
I think when we were running some analysis in that particular area, the rents were going from between 500.
That is very true. That is absolutely true. So I appreciate that. We would be targeting homes not to exceed like the 120K route. And then I have like all this written down. I won't belabor the point, but yes, I have considered that, and I look to future state advance it till about 900 net per door. But again, wanting to get that experience under my belt to reasonably do that and be within rights to charge that. So that is something I am considering future state.
And because my son and his girlfriend wanted to do that, there is definitely a market for this.
Perfect, and I love it. I might have to link with you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought your presentation was really well done. I'm glad because as I was reading your business plan, I was thinking, are you an investor or are you a business?
Yes.
Because sometimes, as an investor, the approaches can be slightly different.
Yes.
If you're a business, which now with your presentation, I can hope you get this is totally a business, which is great. So my question is, you mentioned maintenance costs for the tenants, right?
Yes.
Is that built into their rents, or is this something you're offering as an additional plan for them, like a separate revenue stream for the business?
And that's a big consideration. I actually recently started looking into how American Homes for Rent does it, and they do it per like a membership where they can opt into that. Initially, I would build it into the rents. But as we scale up, just understanding that those costs can eat at your profit, immensely, possibly looking to go that route and just add that as an additional stream of income. And also just as a contingency, just in case something expensive does happen, I'll have the monetary funds to address it.
Okay, and my other question for you is about, I wrote my notes, sorry, because my clock's getting lost here. So you also talked about, the issues have you considered, and maybe you should share.
Yes.
With rentals, there's the whole liability, there's the eviction costs, and there's, you don't pay the rent, so you have to go through that process. What contingencies do you have for that? Are you gonna build it into your budget line, or?
Yes, so I am possibly, I'm looking at, and I've been researching this to see what's conservative and what's overly optimistic or pessimistic. I've considered a 20% vacancy rate, but I am looking at programs that kind of help leverage, help investors such as myself leverage those times when you're not getting those funds from the renter, but you're filing and going through that route. So I am looking at resources to help with that.
Okay, and then one last question.
Yes, absolutely.
The biggest part is, I think everybody in here, we're not investors, but everybody knows you need a good team. You need contractors that are on time, that won't leave you high and dry. And so how do you cultivate that team? How do you plan to cultivate
Absolutely. So largely looking to leverage this mastery program. And if anybody has a chance to see it and interested in real estate investment, this is a pretty much, I don't want to say a safety net, but they really do arm you with the context and the information if you choose to embark on it. They introduce you to the wholesalers, so you have access to those off the market deals. They have a network of GCs that are also investors, but instead of flipping, they want to have a little bit more control of the money, so they go the GC route. So you interface with a lot of stakeholders in the real estate industry, and so that is, especially, I failed to mention that I have 10 years of experience in construction. It was on the first slide, but it was small. So yes, I do have those contacts as well. Thank you.
You know what, because that was one of the questions. A lot of what you want to do is based on relationships.
Yes.
And all across the board, relationships in getting the money, finding the homes, having the GCs or whatever. What do you have in place? You mentioned it, but I didn't really get the full feel.
Sure.
In how you make that happen.
How do I make the relationships happen?
Well, do you have them?
I do.
Okay.
Yes, with 10 years of experience, I do have relationships in the GC space. I worked for a smaller GC for about 6 years. So I do have those relationships with the GCs, as well as through that career path, I did have a lot of exposure with real estate agents and investors. So I actually worked on behalf of the investors, executing their flips, but not necessarily being the investor myself. So I do have those relationships currently enhanced. This is not just a wish list. I actually do have them. I just look to expound upon them in this program where I can increase my network, so to speak.
Okay. And so my next big question, of course, what makes all of this happen is funding.
Yes.
Now, you just mentioned if it didn't go Plan A, that you were gonna put your own funds into.
If it didn't go, so Plan A is my own funds. I would look to acquire mortgages based off of what I do for a 9 to 5, and based off that income. And then the contingency plan is to leverage the private lender funding that this group would afford me. And then we would do something similar, which is pitch to this group. And based off of my market research, as well as stalking that group a little bit, I'll say admittedly, I have found that there's a high success rate. So I have not myself uncovered any areas of opportunity where you followed exactly what you're supposed to do and not procured funding.
And so when you're talking about making purchases, and you mentioned that if you do it, not through things like the MLS, that you can get maybe 30-40% discounted price
Yes.
in what you're seeing.
Yes.
Do you have those connections?
I do. So those connections are actually going to be, once I've established myself as an investor, I'll be taken a little bit more serious. I'll have a little bit more credibility, but I do have access currently to wholesalers who have access to off-the-market deals that I can look to leverage today if I need to.
And then, are you a real estate agent?
I am not. I am a project manager currently for a utility company. So with that, leveraging some of the information that I could acquire today with my current position, I do understand based off of the projects that I support, the areas that are up and coming and where we're looking to invest, I do look to leverage that as well as a way to make sure that I am making smart decisions and investing in the right places once I increase my footprint.
You have a great plan.
Thank you. Now you know this is not my strong suit. Girl, you look good. I was the only one that had to resubmit my picture. You did have to do that. It was real big when you said it first. So y'all did so good. Everybody was nervous, but like y'all did really well. So if y'all can give me just a couple of minutes to tally up the scores, we still have food left. You can mingle a little bit, and then we're gonna do the big check. We'll present the winners, first and second place prize, and then we can take some pictures and we'll give the benediction.
All right. My today is compliance, a little words in the job information. You don't know what's going. I don't think I ever asked her that question. I didn't have to. Okay.
You take it down.
Go. Only one person.
Let me get your car project. Absolutely, thank you so much. And listen, you have something, I love, okay, so is this your business? Okay, what's your business? Naturally Urban Environmental Incorporated. I am out of business card. So you go in this card. Naturally Urban. Bachelor in mining board, which is real estate. I love it, but I just started my inspection team. That's what I did specifically with this. That's what I do. And looking to get my distance. So you're talking about your business. Now I'm like, oh. And I love naturally. I love it. Thank you. I love it. Thank you. Yeah. I'm a general contractor. My background's in environmental. That is so I do sustainable real estate. Thank you. I love that. Are you guys on LinkedIn? Oh, yeah. Right. Are you yeah. So, yeah, I'm this. Okay, great. All my co-workers are in there. Remind me of. I've heard. I actually did. So, the classes you guys, I did
laws over there. Wait. Turn them over.
Get me together. Get me together.
That's me.
Okay.
Thank you.
My little baby partner. Yes. Yes.
You guys link up with me, please do, okay?
Absolutely. Actually, I love it. Yeah. Perfect. I'm doing that right now.
Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
It's the beginning. I just picked up a new service rendering, which is appraisals and inspections. It's I was doing it for State Farm Insurance, back in 2016. And now I got to a regional team that's coming in.
How you doing? I'm doing well. Okay.
So we're looking to have field inspectors now. So I really like it. Just because looking at it, I'm
She put me on my sweat, my tongue. I love it. I love her blazer too. Thank you so much. You said it was to be determined. Exactly. I thought it was.
Yes.
You ready? You ready to be a business owner?
Yes. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure. Thank you. You did a great job. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was so nervous. Thank you. I love your man. I love that it's giving like it's compliment everything. Great.
That's all I have in front of me.
That's the biggest problem I have.
Mom, hold up. Hold on.
Everybody here is affected by it. So I know. Yeah, she have a program. Of course. You are. Right. 369. Exactly. As they grow.
So I
Send it to you at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, I can't walk. What you get? Yeah, she did me like that. I said, now I'm showing you money. I got homework.
Okay, yeah. Oh, nice. I did that with my school. Yes, for sure.
You can oversell.
Yeah.
Person.
So I've already, yeah, I've already, out for that.
Good enough.
It's very intense. Next level. I'm basic.
I quit.
There you go, right?
It's a lot of commitment.
It is. Man, it's getting out the gate.
Just boom, 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 boom,
All right. Okay, so we got our tally. And before I start announcing what our prize or who our winners are, I want to let you all know that 2 organizations donated money towards this competition because at first, it was one first place prize of $2,000, second place prize of $5,000. So S&P.
You might have said that wrong. You said that wrong. Wait a minute.
Next year. But S&P Creative, Business Management and Design, husband and, wife.
It don't matter.
It don't matter. We together.
They donated money so that we can have a 3rd place prize and a Capital One off of the. So now I'm gonna go ahead and announce our winners. So our first place prize, and I'll give you all the scores as well. So
Third first.
Oh, okay. Let's go. 3rd place prize of $500. I don't have a check. I only got a first place prize check. So check. But it goes to Latanzia. You were a close third, so you got 223.5. I think it's out of 300. Right, out of 300, 3 judges. So you got 223.5. Great job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Second place goes to Angelica. $500 check. You get a $1,000 check. So congratulations. And then our first place prize goes to Miss Brooklyn. 250 or 250.5 or 268.5. Excuse me. Let me go get this check. I should have had that ready. But I have a check for you. And I want to give you all the feedback forms from the judges because they wrote feedback for all of you all. So I want you all to have that. And that looks
She gotta take it apart.
Are you surprised?
Yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You should take one in front of the sign.
So with the professional.
Our pleasure.
First lady, in front of them.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Good job. You need to
Yeah, you want to do one more picture with the judges, with you all. And that's Sabrina, I'll give you that one for the meal, okay? Can we take a picture of the judges and the participants real quick? Pull your legs up real quick. Take a picture. Yeah, we'll do it like, can you do it like?
Oh, we're around the screen.
You have to finish the screen. Just now, okay?
Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Cheese. One more.
Thank you all. This was great. I'm gonna mail you these feedback forms, what I'm saying. I'm gonna mail for you. Okay, all right. You're welcome.
And that concludes the show. I don't know how to end.